You're listening to a New York Jets episode of the Jacob Valk Show. He's breaking down the team's latest goings-on as only he can. Follow him on Twitter at RealJacobValk. Here he is, Jacob Valk.
Hello, Jets fans! Welcome to another Jets episode of the Jacob Valk Show. I am Jacob Valk, and somehow the Jets found a way to be worse than they were last week and the week before. This is what's going to happen every week, right? The Jets are going to play garbage football, and we're going to say, oh, there's no way that the Jets can be this bad again. They'll rebound. Maybe they won't win, but they'll look better. Somehow they look even worse. Here's how low the barometer of success is for the Jets. After the first half, they were down 17-7. Their quarterback had thrown a pick six the first drive of the game. They weren't getting much done offensively besides a good drive after the pick six. The defense looked dreadful. But they were only down by 10. And we were saying as Jets fans, hey, it's not that bad. They don't look that bad. Then the second half hit. 2 more interceptions. Look, maybe they're not giving up as egregious of plays as they were against the Niners, but it's still terrible. At the end of the day, Greg Williams was able to make lemonade out of lemons last year. Why hasn't he been able to do it this year? Some of this is on him. This team is atrocious. This team is an embarrassment to football. This team is an indictment of Western civilization. What more can you say? I said it last week. From the top down, there needs to be change. Chris Johnson is an idiot. There's no other word for it. The guy is a moron. He knows as much about football as I do about the dynamics of politics in England. Joe Douglas assembled one of the least talented rosters I have ever seen. This is a team filled with players that if it wasn't for the Jets, they'd be out of the NFL. Connor McDermott. Who the hell has ever heard of Connor McDermott? Jordan Willis. Who the hell is Jordan Willis? Lawrence Cager. Probably the worst route runner I've ever seen in my life. Joe Douglas has the worst eye for talent out of any NFL GM. Maybe even worse than John Idzik. Maybe. I don't know. That's a high bar to clear. Douglas at least drafted Mekhi Becton. Then again, Idzik drafted Quincy Enunwa. It's close. I'll tell you, it's close. Adam Gase has overseen a regression that not even the most pessimistic Jet fan could have seen coming. This isn't all on Gase, but I understand that he has a role in this. At the end of the day, Sam Darnold should be better than this. We've seen Darnold be better than this. And Gase has him going in the opposite direction. I get that. But at the end of the day, there's only so much you can do with this roster. If you put a Bill Belichick or a Vince Lombardi or a Bill Walsh, whoever, on that sideline, are the Jets that much better? Really? I ask you. Maybe they're better, but that's not a high bar to clear. They'd certainly still be winless. So at the end of the day, is some of this on Gase? Yes. But not as much as what's on Joe Douglas. He will be fired. And I don't even think that's the wrong decision at this point. At the end of the day, there's so much negativity surrounding Gase that the Jets really don't have another option but to let him go. I don't think the percentage of the blame that he's getting is fair. I think it's more on Douglas and Darnold. But I understand that Gase is going to have to fall on the sword for Douglas's terrible roster construction and Darnold proving to everyone that he's not a franchise quarterback. And I haven't even gotten 100% into Darnold. This kid does not have what it takes to be a franchise quarterback. It's done. It's over. The kid's a bust. Be honest with yourself. You can hate Adam Gase all you want. But put him on another team. Is he still making these decisions? Is he still a garbage quarterback on the road? I got news for you. The answer is yes. Again, maybe he's slightly better, but that's not a high bar to clear. The people saying that Sam Darnold can still turn it around are expecting this kid to do a complete 180. As it stands right now, Sam Darnold may be the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. And you're asking him to get to competence. I think at this point we'd all settle for competence. Maybe it's not what we really want, but at this point, you can't ask for anything more. I mean, Sam Darnold did something today that, as far as I can tell, has only been done once in NFL history. He was picked off at least 3 times, 2 of which went for pick sixes, and his team gave up a safety. As far as I can tell, that has only happened one other time. September 27th, 2015, when the Arizona Cardinals destroyed the 49ers 47-7. Colin Kaepernick was the quarterback for the Niners in that game. Now, I'm not looking to get into a whole Colin Kaepernick argument right now, but the one thing I'll say is that year did not end well for him. He got benched for Blaine Gabbert, then needed season-ending surgery. It's time that we start having a real conversation about what the Jets should do with Sam Darnold. Because at the end of the day, trotting him out there every week just isn't working. I can't take it anymore. I can't take games being over in the third quarter. When Joe Flacco comes back, the Jets need to bench Darnold. I'm done. I don't want to see Darnold anymore. I understand you don't want to put Mike White in. No one wants to see Mike White. Not even Mike White's parents want to see Mike White. I get that. And if James Morgan really isn't ready to play in the NFL, fine. Keep him on the sidelines. By the way, that's another Joe Douglas beauty. Take James Morgan instead of a wide receiver. You have Tyler Johnson sitting right there. Quintez Cephas right there. Donovan Peoples-Jones right there. You do nothing. You take a freaking quarterback. Someone who you know isn't going to be able to help this year. See, here's the thing with what Joe Douglas did. He set up Adam Gase to fail. That's why I'm not as furious at Gase as I am towards Douglas and Darnold. Douglas punted this season away. We knew it. He can give you all this nonsense about, oh no, I really think this team can contend. That's a bunch of nonsense. You know what? That's a bold-faced lie. This team wasn't built to win now. This team is playing for the first overall pick. And you know what? Let me tell you, if the Jets don't end up with the first overall pick, which I don't know if they will, I don't know if they won't. Alright, Thursday is going to go a long way towards deciding that. But if they end up with a top 5 or top 10 pick, trade Darnold, your 2 firsts this year, and your 2 firsts next year, if you have to move up to first overall and take Trevor Lawrence. Tank for Trevor. Say it with me. Tank for Trevor. One more time. Tank for Trevor. Because he's the future quarterback of the Jets. It's not Darnold. It's not Morgan. It's a Clemson Tiger. There was something else I was thinking about. What's the benefit in starting Joe Flacco, really? Besides the fact that he's better than Darnold. Everyone knows that you're going to move on from Flacco. Why wouldn't you go out and sign Josh Rosen? I'm not kidding. Let's say that Joe Flacco is 100%, maybe not for the Broncos game, because that's a quick turnaround, but for the Cardinals game. I want Flacco to start that game. But I don't necessarily want Flacco to finish out the season. Why do I want to watch Joe Flacco play quarterback? What does that prove to me? That Joe Flacco can still play? Okay, fine. Why wouldn't you sign Rosen? Have him pick up the offense as best he can. It's not going to be easy. And then, at the end of the season, for a handful of games, put him in. What's the worst that can happen? Darnold's not the answer. But if by some miracle, Josh Rosen plays fantastically in the final 4 or so games, the Jets may have something there. And it actually puts the Jets in a pretty good spot. They can either start Rosen, and they don't have to put Trevor Lawrence in right away. They can keep Rosen around as the backup. Or they can trade Rosen to another quarterback-needy team. If he lays an egg, okay. Who cares? At the end of the day, the season is over anyway. Why would I want to see Joe Flacco instead of Josh Rosen? Someone who the jury is still out on. It's not looking good for Rosen. I'm not saying this because I like Rosen more than Darnold. But what does it do for the Jets if they start Flacco? It doesn't help them for the future. The season's over anyway. Now, it shouldn't have been. The Jets should have tried to contend this year, but Joe Douglas thinks he knows better than everyone else. Well, let's see if he does. Flacco's probably not going to be 100% for Week 4. But have him ready to go for Week 5. He practiced all week this week. So it's not a stretch to think that 2 weeks from today, he could be ready to go. Sign Rosen. He'll be the third stringer. Darnold will be the backup. And then when Rosen has picked up the offense, put Rosen in. Maybe if Flacco is playing great, you keep Flacco in. But unless Flacco looks like he's going to win Super Bowl MVP again, start Rosen. Flacco's the backup. And Darnold's inactive. I knew this kid was going to bust. Called it from day one. You can go back and listen to Beyond the Game when I killed the pick. I never saw it with this kid. I tried to be optimistic. I really did. But at the end of the day, it's pretty clear to me that he's a bust. Maybe he should have been better than this. But I can promise you that that better Darnold that's playing somewhere in an alternate universe isn't a franchise quarterback. A couple other things before I let you go. Gase has gotten a lot of heat for his play calling, but he doesn't trust Darnold. Okay, that's why the play calling is so conservative. When Darnold was given permission to air it out, he threw 3 interceptions. People got on Gase for not giving Darnold the option to call a quarterback sneak. Look, he should have been given that option, but at the end of the day, I understand Gase not wanting to give this guy a whole hell of a lot of responsibility. He hasn't earned it. You want to tell me that you should have some faith in your quarterback? At the end of the day, he has to earn that. The Jets have no choice but to be a ground and pound / dink and dunk offense with Sam Darnold as their quarterback. That's all he can handle. Also, I tweeted this at Joe Caporoso, but he didn't reply to me. I don't know why. Maybe he's afraid of me. But I want to throw the question at you. And please, tweet at me at RealJacobValk with your response to this. If you had to divide the percentage of blame for this year among Darnold, Gase, and Douglas, how would you do it? For whatever it's worth, I'm at 45% Douglas, 30% Darnold, and 25% Gase. I asked Dominic the same thing, Dominic Arbolino, who I chatted with about the Jets during the offseason. He put it at 60% Gase, 20% Darnold, and 20% Douglas. I'd love to know what you think. Regular episode of the Jacob Valk Show comes your way every weekday afternoon. Tomorrow you're going to get the last New York Yankees show until the off-season preview. I just want to put a bow on their season, talk a little bit about Gary Sanchez. Nothing too crazy, but it'll be fun to do a finale for the season. You're not going to get a Jets show next week. They're the Thursday night game. It makes no sense for me to post a show at like 1, 2 in the morning when I'd be talking about the Thursday night game anyway on the regular episode of the Jacob Valk Show. So you'll get the breakdown on Friday's episode of the Jacob Valk Show. Until tomorrow, I am Jacob Valk saying that I hope you have an easy fast for Yom Kippur.